I can't. I don't have the technology to be able to do this and access that at the same time. Sorry.
Me
You
too,
send it to
Rafi.
me?
Me too.
I could probably find it maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Is it on, did you send it to on
I
an
can't.
email
All
or?
right, all right. Let's see. All right. Maybe I can
Um,
send it. Maybe I can send it to you, Lynn.
Yeah,
Hold on. Let me look under my sends.
If he's
Like,
successful, Lynn, can you send it to me before you go to bed tonight?
sure.
I'd love to read it.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah,
okay. So my sends is a much shorter list than my incoming. So I sent it out to I sent it out. I sent it out. Let's see. I must have sent it out. Oh, here it is. To John Mundy. Uh, I'll find it. I don't want to hold you up. I'll find it.
Hi, Vishnu.
Look, I'm gonna say hello to Miss Karen. Hello, Miss Karen.
I love that picture. It's not as beautiful as you are, but it comes close.
Hi,
Oh,
everybody.
there you are. Yeah, that's better.
Hi, how are you all?
Okay, I found it. I'm sending it to you, Lynn.
okay, good.
Let's see. Sending it to
How you doing, Vishnu? Good to see you, man.
ML. I just sent it out.
Okay. It will be here in a second.
I should have sent it. I don't know. Yeah, it should be there already.
Okay. Let me just look. Somehow it takes a little bit for things to come back. And man, I'll tell you, we've been having some crazy storms and rain and wow. It's been pretty crazy.
How are you feeling, Lynn?
I'm feeling a lot better than I was. So that's obviously, I mean, that's pretty amazing to me how much better I'm feeling. So I mean, I was pretty sick last night, but I think it's just other things. Apparently, that particular kind of COVID does upset your digestive system. So and I remember getting a message from one of the fellows that was at the retreat, and he said that he absolutely lost control of his bodily functions
Oh, no.
on the train trying to get back home. So I'm glad that I wasn't on a train when all this started happening, but or an airplane or anything like that. But yeah. All right, so let's take a look at this thing that Dove sent.
I sent a second one with larger print. It should come out now.
Okay, well, are you seeing this now? It's pretty good
Oh,
size.
okay, all right. As long as you can read it, fine.
Yeah, yeah. So here's one of my favorite posts on aging. As you get older, you will understand more and more that it's not about what you look like or what you own. It's all about the person you've become.
Amen.
That's absolutely true.
Mhm.
So I received the following from my high school class of 58. Thought you might find it interesting and familiar. Interesting facts about the one percenters. 99% of those born between 1930 and 1946 worldwide are now dead. If you were born in this time span, you are one of the rare survivors of this special group, the one percenters. Their ages range between 77 and 93 years old, a 16-year age span. You are the smallest group of children born since the early 1900s. You are the last generation climbing out of the Depression who can remember the winds of war and the impact of a world at war that rattled the structure of our daily lives for years. You are the last to remember ration books for everything from gas to sugar to shoes to stoves. You saved tinfoil and poured fried meat fat into tin cans. You can remember milk being delivered to your house early in the morning and placed in the milk box on the porch. Discipline was enforced by parents and teachers. You are the last generation who spent childhood without television. Instead, you imagined what you heard on the radio. With no TV, you spent your childhood playing outside. There was no Little League, there was no city playground for kids. The lack of television in your early years meant that you had little real understanding of what the world was like. We got black and white TV in the late 40s that had 3 stations and no remote. Telephones were went to a house, often shared party lines and hung on the wall in the kitchen. No cares about privacy. Computers were called calculators. They were hand cranked. I never had I never saw a calculator that was hand cranked, but that's something different, I guess. Typewriters were driven by pounding fingers, throwing the carriage and changing the ribbon. Internet and Google were words that did not exist. Newspapers and magazines were written for adults, and the news was broadcast on your radio in the evening. Your dad would give you the comic pages when he read the news. New highways would bring jobs and mobility. Most highways were 2 lanes, no interstates. You went downtown to shop, you walked to school. The radio network expanded from 3 stations to thousands. Your parents were suddenly free from the confines of the Depression and the war, and they threw themselves into working hard to make a living for their families. You weren't neglected, but you weren't today's all-consuming family focus. They were glad you played by yourselves. They were busy discovering the post-war world. You entered a world of overflowing plenty and opportunity, a world where you were welcomed, enjoyed yourselves, you felt secure in your future, although the depression and poverty were deeply remembered. Polio was still a crippler. Everyone knew someone who had it. You came of age in the 50s and the 60s. You were the last generation to experience an interlude when there were no threats to our homeland. World War II was over, and the Cold War, terrorism, and perpetual economic insecurity had yet to haunt life. Only your generation can remember a time after World War II when our world was secure and full of bright promise and plenty. You grew up at the best possible time, a time when the world was getting better. More than 99% of you are retired now, and you should feel privileged to have lived in the best of times. If you've already reached the age of 77 years old, you have outlived 99% of all the other people in the world who were born in this special 16-year time span. You are a 1%er and very lucky, or the script is written. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Dove, can you send that to me? Because I would love to send that to my mom.
Oh,
Sure.
me too, me too.
Thank you. My mom would love that.
You know, why don't I just send it to everybody right now?
Very good. Very
Oh,
good.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
Thanks,
just
Lynn.
do that. We're just
That's
gonna
beautiful, so beautiful.
forward it to Karen and Rico and
Yeah, thank Rafi. Rafi sent
Thank
it
you,
to me.
Rafi.
Send it to me.
One
Me
thing I
too.
didn't see on there was diaper delivery. Does anybody remember diaper delivery?
Ah,
I remember diapers.
We had diaper delivery when I was growing up. There was diaper delivery. They didn't have those disposable diapers. They were cloth diapers, and you had to wash them by hands.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember them.
I remember that very well. Oh my goodness. Yep, washing diapers. When my son was born, they didn't have paper diapers. So then by the time my second child, my daughter was born, they did. Let's see, I don't need to send this to Dove because he sent it. And Rafi, you sent it, so I don't need that. All right, who am I missing here? Who else wanted it? Karen, Rico, Gloria,
Sharon wanted it.
Sharon. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, Sharon Sear, art lady.
Yeah.
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 And Lynn and Brooklyn wanted it.
Oh, yeah, Lynn Artino, that's,
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
her.
I wanted to. My phone wasn't working, so I had to get.
yeah, you have it, art lady.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, no, I also so many of these things because even though I wasn't born in that time. My parents were old.
Mine too.
Yeah, my parents were old. My mother was 36 years old when I was born.
Mm.
So, all that old stuff was stuff that was what I grew up with. I didn't have and living in a really small little town up in the middle of the mountains. We didn't even have a TV. I don't know what they're talking about people with TVs because there was
No, no, no. It actually said you had no TV. You
yeah, you
listened,
had no TV.
yeah,
Yeah.
you listened to the radio. By the way, my mother had me when she was 36 too. I knew we had something in common.
Oh, yes. Well, you know what? That means that your mother was a dragon also, because the dragon
That's
goes
right.
every 12 years.
That's right. That's right. You're right. You're right.
So you're
That's,
you're the son of a dragon also.
that's right.
Yeah.
I never realized that.
Yeah, because my mother was a dragon also, and so I'm a dragon, and my oldest daughter is a dragon, and her daughter is a dragon.
My
So,
mother had me when I was 40, when she was 43.
Wow.
yeah.
My mother was in her early 30s as well. I was just surprised. 8 years after my sister was born, it was surprise. Guess what? I'm pregnant. She went on, what? And then I asked her, well, how did she react to that? She said, I was thrilled
Oh yeah.
because I didn't think I was going to have any more babies. And then all of a sudden you came along and she said she was thrilled. I thought, well, okay.
Yeah. By the way,
Mhm.
the period that they were talking about where there was world peace and people felt very safe and there was on and the country was building itself up. That was the 50s.
Yep.
Those were the Eisenhower years.
Yeah.
There was no war, there was no nothing. I mean, people. Well, there was the Iron Curtain and the Russians, but people felt safe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
When
and also because um during that time there was just this massive increase in communication and technology
Yeah.
that hadn't even been thought of before. So it is pretty amazing what's gone on in our lifetimes.
And
Uh,
people
as,
were moving also out of big cities into the suburbs because they had moved up the economic ladder, living the American. These are families, I mean, immigrant family like mine, living the American dream and moving up the economic ladder so they
That's
could now buy a house in the suburbs.
that. Yeah, that was the American dream. You're right.
yeah.
I remember it's just funny because they bought their house in the suburbs in 1955, right before I enrolled at Yonkers High School. And they bought the house for $19,000. You can't even buy a car for $19,000 now.
Oh gosh, no. Yeah, yeah. Hey,
But
Myrna.
it wasn't perfect. The world
No.
could never
Nothing
be.
is ever perfect in this dream. Are you kidding?
But it was setting us up too because
Supposed to go
you know
so much
the,
slower.
the
It's
the whole shift of everything that happened in the 60s was a direct result of uh just that surge and that need to change things and to
Mm.
overcome some things that were still
60.
not good. Yeah.
wouldn't have been a flower. There wouldn't have been a flower generation if it wasn't for what happened in the 60s.
Yeah.
Lynn was the major flower girl.
Yeah, I was a flower child. That's for
Flowers in
sure.
the air, flowers everywhere.
Yeah,
I love the flower girl.
I definitely was a flower child. I still am.
And if it wasn't for that, women's rights would not have happened. Equal rights, voting, things, all of that happened in the 60s because of the influence of what happened in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Everything feeds on everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, because women didn't even go out into the workforce in a big way until the war. And the war made it necessary for women to go and work in factories and to do things outside of the home, which had not really been thought of or allowed before that.
That's true.
So, then the whole idea of you had to do something with your life. And even, when the men came home from the war, a lot of them took back the jobs that they had uh, given up when they went to war, but still that left a lot of women who were like, hey, you know what? I can do something. I can work. I can make money. And they weren't so tied to the bonds of marriage and that you had to have, a woman had to have a husband or she would not survive back when I was coming up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. During the 50s, women only had one purpose: get married.
Yeah, except my
Get them
mom.
pregnant.
My mom had a job. She always worked, and my dad had two jobs. And sometimes my mother would have to. So she would work in the daytime, and then later on, she would be. She'd sell Tupperware at night or something else. And
Yeah.
it was very good. And that's the job opportunities were there. Opportunities to make money, to move up the economic ladder were there, and they jumped on them, and it did not impact their effect on the family and on a family unit in any negative way whatsoever. It was just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because we were forced to listen to our parents. When they said, don't do this while I'm gone, you were like a soldier. There was no timeouts.
Yeah, that's one thing for sure that they didn't. My folks didn't mind whacking the crap out of you if you stepped out of line. So you learn pretty quickly. Don't sass back. Don't say anything. Just sit down and shut up.
Lynn, you mentioned that. One of the things I still marvel at today, I didn't realize how many people had good manners then. And it was from the parents. I could be down the street. If I talk back to a grown up, it'll be at my mother's kitchen table before I even get there.
Yeah.
The whole community would be responsible for all the kids. So I kind of miss that.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
guys are my community now. You guys are responsible for me.
Those are the kind of neighborhoods I grew up in, and they were all thoroughly integrated. I mean, completely integrated. Between the ages of 6 and 9, my best friend was a black guy named Johnny Maddox who lived 3 houses away. His mother was white, his father was black. Nobody ever mentioned it. They were just the Maddox family who lived next to the Goldstein family, who next to the O'Reillys. I mean, that's the way it was. And I didn't understand prejudice when I got to be a grown up and I got out in the world and I found people didn't like people because of their nationality or their race or their religion. It was completely foreign to me. Like, what the hell are they talking about?
Mm.
Yeah. That is quite true. And I think everyone has a different uh, experience of that. So, it just depended on, where you were and what your community was like. Sharon, go ahead.
Just
You're
talking about where we all come from. Or I love what you're doing. I came late, so I didn't know, but I just love, because I love everybody in this group, and I just wanted to hear more when he was talking, Rafi, about New York. Like Gloria has said, the greatest part of New York City is that it's all mixed. So it wasn't as like it didn't have anti-Semitism like maybe it did. I don't know, but Philly sure did. And I don't like anything that has to do with even as a child, and my parents were just so open when it came to people that I didn't grow up not loving people. But once I got to junior high, it was hard sometimes because I was Jewish. That's pretty much what's going on now. So I just love that you guys are talking about, because back in the day, the milkman came, the food was fresh. It was just simple living. I would get home from school, do homework, and go outside and play. Today, when I had my kids, you couldn't do it anymore. And Philadelphia is different than New York. I think it's not as open, but it's gotten open.
Now we still get milk from the milkman.
You do?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's
How
a
did that
service.
happen? I didn't even know they do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's once a week we get milk, and it's good milk, and it's the best milk. I mean, it doesn't get
Well, it's from a
sour.
farm, probably, right?
Yeah, it's from local dairy farms.
I mean, I love like the almond milk. I don't like the dairy as much. She said we grew up that everyone brings the best of who they are together. It's beautiful. Yeah, I had a great neighborhood, but I'm just saying there's certain parts, like what's going on in our world now. It's coming up again because when my dad was a kid, that's when all this. Well, you guys are older than me. I'm going to be 70. So Rafi and Dove probably like they experienced like all that stuff, like in Germany. You knew about what was going on in Germany, right?
I
I
doubt very
mean,
much that they knew that was
Yeah,
not well known.
I was 5 years old, but I did lose my oldest brother in Nuremberg, Germany, in World War II. Mickey,
you did?
I think I sent a copy to you, didn't I, Mickey? You,
Dove, are you 84 or 85?
I'm 84.
Okay,
Rafi is 85.
right.
He's Myrna. Do you want a copy of it?
Yeah, I love the stuff. Like Dove sent me these things today because I was I was going to call you Rafi, and I just have to do the release technique because when I think I'm Sharon, I'm screwed. I'm just screwed.
Sure, be
Because
glad to help.
yeah, because when I think I'm Sharon, all of a sudden the hatred comes up.
Oh, there's a way to deal with that, and it's a lot more efficient and easier than you think.
Well, it's
So,
just like, can you let it go? Is that what it is? Can you let it go? Can you let it
well,
go?
yeah, but there's a simple process that works really easy, and but a lot of times what happens when you start experiencing that hate, you don't want to, and you put it aside, or you suppress it, or you try to distract yourself. And the way to get it is to make sure that you accept it fully, welcome it completely, and realize that it's just a feeling. It's not the end of the world. It's not this catastrophic thing your ego mind is making out to be. And then you can welcome it up, and then assign it to either wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe. But usually the hate is wanting control. That's a wanting to kill.
Yeah.
And and you can let all of that go, and just give me a call. I'll be glad to.
Thursday, I work tomorrow, so it'll probably be Thursday. What time do you get up? Because you're 3 hours like behind us.
Well, I'm usually up around 7.
Okay, because I'll text you before. Because the thing
Don't
is like,
don't text.
oh, you don't do text. All right.
Texting drives me nuts. Okay.
No, I'm glad you said that because I have a problem with all the computer stuff. So I have like a brain, like a auto processing. So I'm not able to always understand. And I guess for me, what I did from Friday until yesterday was watch a lot of politics. It's not good for me.
No.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. If you want to get in a lot of trouble, just turn that stuff
Oh
on.
my God, the
Start
hatred I have.
listening to
And
your
that's
ego.
my hatred. So when I see a certain people, this is a dream of judgment.
Yeah,
You
yeah. And what happens when you do that, it just tears you apart. It's not good. It's unhealthy for you. It doesn't do anything to them. You can think all the hateful thoughts that you want about them, and it doesn't do anything to them. It's you that gets torn up by it. So yeah, Rafi, go ahead.
If you can use it as a tool, then it works for you. But if you sit there and just react to it, because your ego mind judging it, I like these people, I like what they said, I don't like what these people said, I like these people. Okay, then you're caught up in an all like, there's no happy, no
right.
peace, there's no any of that. And and Lynn is right. You're the only one that suffers. They ain't suffering.
I was just, my son does a lot of stuff. He works for, well, I shouldn't say, but I'll say it anyway, but he works for Kamala's, he's just an activist. So he's in the social justice. So we had a live stream, and that's what put me in hell. It put me, because he's my kid and I wanted to see what he was doing, but it's not good for me. But I have to tell you, Mickey and Brooklyn were like, we had a group therapy last night because nobody else came. So they were so helpful. But then I said to them, I got to call Ralphie, but I just want to be able to not completely tell my story. And I told Karen today, by January 1st, I'm done with the story. I have to be done because there's still stuff that has to come up, and I get attached to it, and then I believe it's me. And what Dove sent me was, I'm not the person. The person's meaningless. So all the story is bullshit.
Yeah.
But
So you have to look at it, though. You can't just,
Yeah, I know. I'm writing about it now. Yeah.
January 1st. What the hell does that mean? I mean,
Well, because I'm writing a journal, like a thing to let it all go to the Holy Spirit. That's something I just been guided to do. Like if you flush it up and you just get it out and then you realize that none of it's you. Because I said that because I just am attached. Yeah, you have to do it now. January 1st doesn't mean anything. It's now. And I
exactly.
get that. But it's a habit. And certain things, I guess for me, I'm giving myself too much legroom. So that was kind of helpful, Lynn, because Karen and I talked today and I said, well, maybe I'll just do it until the new year. And that's what I did with dieting.
I'm just gonna keep judging for a while. Let me just keep judging till next Thursday. Yeah, I'll just judge until next Thursday, and then I'm gonna change and become a different person altogether.
Right.
That is not gonna
Karen let me
happen.
get away with it. She was like, okay, she was like,
Exactly. Mickey has her hand up. Go ahead, Mickey.
Well, I'm just thinking about how the ego thought system thrives on conflict. And the minute we buy into that, we're feeding it. It's like sitting it down with a bowl of Cocoa Puffs and saying, "Oh, here, like here, I'm gonna buy into this a little bit more. Here, have a chocolate bar, have some ice cream." It just
pleasure.
feeds
Yeah,
and builds on that. And the minute we sit down, we have to work on looking at it and saying, "Oh, look, I took a little walk today and I saw somebody do something that I had a judgment about." And the minute I'm really grateful to Keith Kavanaugh because he's getting me to watch my mind a little bit more vigilantly, if that's a word.
Mhm.
The minute I had the judgment, the second I went, "Oh, look, there it is. That's a judgment. Can I step back and look at it? Can I not judge the fact that I had the judgment?" And as I was walking down the street, I just kept repeating all of this stuff. "Oh, look, it's a judgment. Can I look at that? Can I be the impartial witness? Can I look at it and not judge it?" And the minute I did that, the minute I realized a block later that I wasn't even thinking about the original judgment anymore, that was completely gone. I was thinking about my mind. I was thinking about what was the whole thought process and what had been going on and observing my mind. And I was like, "Oh, isn't that hysterical? I'm not even thinking about that person that drove by and did that thing that I thought was wrong." You know, it,
That's
to
great.
you with Keith, because Dove sent it to me and I just loved it. Keith has done so much for me. As soon as I listen to him, I'm in stillness and silence.
and I'll tell you that not just Keith, but listening to those, thank God for Prudence. That's all I have to say,
Ken
because
is the best.
those hours of Ken in the morning, I mean, the minute my eyes open, I turn on my phone and I push that little play button and I start listening to Ken. And that, I think, has made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, but it doesn't keep me in
then,
it all. I still think that I'm there. Like I said to you, if I watch something, I am invested again in Sharon.
but all you have to do is look at it and say,
Right.
"Oh, look at Sharon,"
I
because
know.
you're the real you our real nature, the real us, is not this personality. This personality is going to judge. This
They're not
personality is
even
going to
there. It's
watch
just
people,
thought. Yeah.
but it's a construct.
Right.
It's an absolute construct, and we have to start practicing that. It's, the theory, we can listen to Ken and Keith all we want, but until we start implementing it as a practice and thinking about it every time, you watch your mind.
Yeah, you have to
Look at
watch your mind.
look at what that insane voice talking to itself in your head is saying, and question it and say, oh, look at the insane voice, what it just said.
Or you
You
just say,
gotta
is it
get a-
true? Can it really be true? Like Byron Katie today. That's what Karen was saying.
Oh, I love Byron Katie.
But I laugh a lot too, but it's still like at the
Well,
Doug,
what happens
I
though,
talked to today too, because I'm honest of where I'm at. When I go down the rabbit hole, I own it. It's like when you binge on alcohol.
yeah, but what happens is that we, because of our overactive imagination, we identify, we think that we are the thing. It's like you're watching a movie. Have you ever watched a movie and identified with the characters and identified
Oh
with
yeah.
and the next thing you know, you're emotionally caught up in it and you're crying or you're laughing or you're angry or you're sad, or you're going through all these emotions that are not even your, it's a story you're watching. It's not
Right.
even you, has nothing to do with you. That's what this whole world is a story that has nothing to do with us, but our overactive imagination latches on to these characters, and we think that we are that. We think that's who we are. And this is where we have to move out of that believing that I'm this character, I'm this person, and recognizing that that's a story I'm watching. I'm looking at it from another place. And as long as we remember that we're looking at it from another place, then from that place we can see objectively that nothing is happening, nothing is really happening. And I wanted Rafi, if you would mind, because I think that there's a little bit of confusion about how you do the release technique, because I think that there, what people may be thinking is that you go into some sort of denial about what it is that you're experiencing, and there and then you let it go. But you can't go into denial about your experience. You have to look at it and own it, right?
Sure.
Can you talk about that?
Thank you, Lynn. I've been wanting
Right.
Rafi,
We've been
I want
talking
you
about
to do
Rafi a
a
lot last
weekly
night.
class. I want you to do a weekly class in this. I really do, because you're so good at it and you know so much about it that
Well,
I think I would totally come to listen to that.
yeah, the secret is, KISS. Keep it simple, sweetheart. You see that you feel the thought, or you feel the feeling, and you welcome it. And you say yes to it. If it's a fear, if it's a wanting approval, wanting control, wanting to be safe and secure, you welcome it. Yes, 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 yes. Now, could I let it go? Yes. And as soon as you answer the question, the process completes itself. That's the divine guidance that's there all the time, and that's our truth. The feelings come up to leave. The problem with what we deal with is that as soon as something comes up, a fear, for instance, we don't like it. So we push it aside, we deny it, we try to distract ourselves from it. Okay, there are these, or sometimes we express it, which is not so bad, but it still doesn't get rid of it. And if you continue to suppress it or distract yourself, it's just going to go back down and keep running, because the mind is like a recording and playback machine. It just keeps running itself, referencing itself over and over and over and over again. But if you let go of the feeling below the thought has no power whatsoever. And if you first, step number one, don't identify with the thought. I think Lynn just made that perfectly clear. It's not what we are. It's not true. It's not real. It's a thought. It's not a fact.
Right, that's true. I
And,
just love that.
you didn't think of it willingly. You didn't willingly get up and say, "I hate blue Pontiacs." You know, you didn't do that. Oh, look what that woman did with her hair. I hate that. All of a sudden, what? Or I hope that check shows up in the next couple of days because I'm really worried about how much money I got. Uh-oh. Now you're in the future, which doesn't exist. Now you got a fear. All right, what is that fear? Well, that fear is I feel out of control about it. I feel helpless about it. Great. Welcome to fear. Welcome it. Yes, I feel out of control. Yes, yes, yes. It's a lacking control feeling. I get it. God, I want to kill somebody. Great. Welcome that. It's just a feeling. Now, ask the question, could I let it go? Yes. Would I rather have control or want control? Well, I'd rather have control. Can I have and want control at the same time? No. So the want and control feeling, didn't it come up to leave? Yes. Could I let it go? Yes. Just answer the question. And how much goes is that's how much goes. And you just keep asking yourself the question, could I let this go? Could I let go of wanting control even more? Welcome even more of it. Come on, wanting control. I know you're there. I know you're out of control. Or well, come on, wanting safety and security, or come on, wanting approval. The biggest check we're ever going to write, one of my instructors used to say, is wanting approval. Because we desperately think we're separate from.
Who said that? Because that's one of my biggest things. As a child, that's what the way I was. Because
You're not alone. It's
right,
99 and 44% of the population. We think we're separate from our source. Our source is divine love. And so we're constantly looking for it in the world. It ain't in the world. The love is what we are. It's our basic nature.
right.
That's
That's
God.
always
That's
here.
truth. Okay. But the feeling comes up and you let the feeling go. Did I let go of wanting approval? Yes. Did I let go of more wanting approval or wanting, you could just put it as wanting love. Good. And just keep welcoming the feeling and letting it go and letting it go. And it will go. 3 or 4 times saying it, and the feeling that came up to leave will leave. And then you'll say, okay, now does it feel more like I have love? I have approval? Yes. Well, could I just give myself a whole lot of love and approval now? No reason. Yes. And could I let go of whatever I'm feeling to see if it gets even better? Yes. Could I let go of even more what I'm feeling to see if it gets even better? Yes. Can I let go of more what I'm feeling to see if it gets even better? Yes. Okay, now what am I experiencing? Not what I'm feeling. What am I experiencing? And you'll notice there's quiet, happiness, a sense of lightness. That means it's gone. And what did it take? 3, 4 minutes?
Rafi, what happens if you say, "Can I let go of this?" and the answer in your head is no?
Then say no. And then watch what happens. It'll go anyway. It'll go anyway. I mean, but what happens is your mind, you know how the ego, it's the first thought and it's the most pronounced thought. And it's always a catastrophe, right? Everything with the ego is the worst case scenario. And so you say, can I let go of wanting safety and security, which is essentially the fear of dying, because we think we're people and we have a lifespan. We were born, we're going to live a little while, we're going to die. And that's true. But if you can bring up the feeling and welcome it, that fear of dying feeling, that wanting safety and security and let it go, you're getting closer and closer to realizing the truth of what we are from the quiet. That's the only truth. So if anybody, just give me a call. I'll be glad to work with you on a
Yeah,
fear.
I just think I mean, I really feel like you and I think everybody's seasoned, but you just bring a lot of wisdom.
One of the great things
Brooklyn wants
about
to ask
it
you a
is
question.
that it'll show itself up in your body. A lot of times you say, okay, I feel fear now. A lot of times it'll show up in your stomach or in your chest or in your throat. And that's even greater. Now you got a shot. Now you're looking at it saying, okay, my stomach's in a knot right now. Great. What is that? Well, it's wanting to be safe. Did I let that go? Yes. Open up an imaginary door or a window over that spot and say, okay, could I let that go? Yes. And watch it leave. Could I let go of more of it? Yes. Could I let go of more wanting the safety feeling? Yes. Could I let go of more wanting security? Yes, even more. But when it shows up in your body like that, in your throat or your chest or your stomach, those sometimes, and for me, sometimes it shows up in my right shoulder. But you know, it's like, oh, good, there you are. Thank you. I'm letting you go now. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's like anything else, you know. The more you ride a bike, the better you are at it. The more you get in the pool and swim, the better swimmer you are. So it's a practice, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. So,
Like
oh,
anything.
Lynn's
Brooklyn is,
got a hand up. Brooklyn's got a hand up.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, I love this conversation. I'm so grateful to be here. And you know, I feel we pull our insides with each other, you know, and that's so wonderful. And you know, I started therapy. That's part of my journey. And she asked me to name some people that I can call if I want to talk. Guess who I named?
Rafi,
All of us.
All of us, yep.
she doesn't have
Yeah.
a favorite. She loves everybody.
Oh my God, you know, and she's working with me, you know, like this is part of my purification because, you know, I want to see if I'm holding anything, you know, a block to love. And she was doing EMDR. I've never had that done. And I'm very lucky to found her. It's we go where we step back and lead the way. And
Mm.
you know, I'm very grateful that we can do that, you know, and talk about any doubts we have and really, you know, yeah, and family who talks a different language. I was talking to my brother. You know, I got my sister-in-law really, you know, triggered me a lot. You know, you know, I still, yeah, I still have some outbursts to say, you know, and she wasn't there. She didn't say, how are you feeling? She says, oh, you must have said her daughter, my niece. And I'm go, what? You know, and I lost it. You don't care about me at all. I've known her for 45 years, but anyway, you know, I gave it to Holy Spirit. And, you know, no matter what language we talk, there's a communication. We got to that communication. Thank you, God. You know, it worked.
There's two things, if I may.
Sure.
One, it's absolutely essential to keep the main purpose, the only purpose there is, first and foremost. That's self-realization, imperturbable peace, freedom, however whatever you call it. Everybody calls it a different thing. But the truth of remembering what our real self is, that has to be permanent. Uh, Everything else, everything that happens, all the other stuff that we do, of course, in miracles, Ho'oponopono, inquiry, releasing, the side effects of all of that is your health improves, your finances improve, your relationships improve. Those are side effects. All I want is to be what I really am. And I don't have to want it really bad because I am that. So that's another want I can let go of. And just be what I am. But that, if that isn't first and foremost, if that isn't the primary, then we're just playing around in this dream, trying to make the dream better. Trying to make the dream better is the biggest waste of time in the world because that's mind stuff, that's ego mind stuff, and that's a lot of suffering perpetuated.
Vigilance for God and his kingdom, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea of trying to make the dream better, we do it all the time. I do it all the time. And I always have to keep reminding myself, I'm here for one purpose. And, you know, I have a lot of people that ask me or tell me, you know, Lynn, you should write a book. well, I'm not inclined to write a book. I have no notion whatsoever I want to write a book. I am not interested in writing a book. And the fact is, I have started writing a book. I have written things. And all it turns out to me to be is uh I get caught up in all my stories and my ego and how things, how the story of my life, which seems so fascinating to the ego, and a lot of other people are interested in it. You know what? It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It really is a waste of time. Why would I waste my time going back into the past, trying to rethink how things happen, come up with a better reason for things to be the way they are, sell some kind of psychology to somebody or philosophy to somebody, or, help people understand certain. This is my book. This is my book. What we're doing right here, right now, is the only book I'll ever write. I think, I don't know, maybe that something else might happen, who knows? But for the most part, this is this is what I am. This is what I have. And, I don't see any point in going out of my way to do something else because this is working. I think. Anyway, Brooklyn, go ahead.
Well, thank you. Oh, I forgot to say namaste, mighty companions.
You are so precious. I'll tell you, you just
Oh.
have such a you're just a gorgeous person.
If you
Gorgeous,
decided you guys,
gorgeous son of God.
I'm so grateful to be a mirror, my dear one. See, actually, I should just let it all out. What I'm going through now, I've been on antidepressants since 1991, and they're not working. And I wasn't able to get off of them before, but now I have all the inside tools. But there's something that this therapist is a mighty companion to me because she knows where I'm coming from. I don't want to talk about, like I just gave her a list of traumas and I says, look, as long as you can talk about something without cringing, you're forgiving it. I says, that's my life, forgiving. And, I wanted like EMDR and so working with mighty companions. Yeah, that's what it's all about, we loving each other, and I've never felt so loved in my life since I met you guys,
Oh,
really, thank you.
Yeah, I love that too, Brooklyn, because so loved means not judged. You know that you can come here and the only judgment we're going to have of you is this is our friend who we love with all our hearts. And that's the only judgment that is necessary or real. So, that's love. And that's I think why this is so easy for me because I look at every single one of you as being just 100% Holy Son of God. And that's we're all equal in that. And so that's what I love, that we don't have, a teacher or a, curriculum or anything. We just come together and join in dialogue because we're all valuable, equally holy. It's such a gift. And speaking of equally holy, Rico has his hand up. I'm calling you Rafi again.
That's my brother. Good evening, family and friends. Thank you for letting me be here with you today. I send you love and life from my heart to yours. And it is so gorgeous to be here, Brooklyn. It is so gorgeous to be here. What I wanted to comment on then was that you don't really have to write a book because I really, really resonated with you. You're living the book. And by living the book, chasing the truth, a ministry builds up around you, not to pick you up, put somebody else down. It's just, I could feel you. I don't feel every book I read. I can feel you. And when I feel you, I know I'm touching the cloth of truth. And so there's no need for you to be locked up in a cabin somewhere, writing, isolating, trying to finish something that you really didn't want to write in the first place. When you breathe, live, and love your life every day, I think that's more powerful. It is for me. I put it that way. I just wanted to share that with you because that really touched me, because my insides were saying, no, don't write a book. Keep doing what you're doing because you're living your book.
That's it. That's it.
And
And
that
that's
might be
all of
the
us.
best book I ever read.
Absolutely. Because you're all the characters. We are it. We are it. Uh, Anybody else? Gosh, I'd love to hear anybody else.
Thanks, Rico.
On the best book, just finish real quick though. In the 12-step program, we use the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we tell people, nobody may not want to read that book. You might be the only book that they ever read. And the example you're setting with the love and the compassion might be all they need to do whatever it is they got to do. They may never read that book. So that's how I feel about your book. I don't need to read another book. Matter of fact, I don't know if it was Goldsmith. No, who was it? Oh, I think it was Doug. I was talking about A Course in Miracles one time. He said, it's time to start living. You don't need to read 1,000 more books, take 1,000 more retreats, and 1,000 more classes. Start living this. And that's what you guys got me doing. So I got my training wheels on. I'm keeping my eye on you. I don't care what they say about you. I love you.
We
I
love you. You're like the
too.
best person. That I say person, I keep saying that. But yes, you're a great teacher, is what I'm going to say, because you always are so kind. There's nothing better than kindness.
Oh, amen. Amen. Thank you,
So
Bus.
true.
Jesus said the same thing, Rico, in uh, uh, lesson one, lesson, lesson, it's lesson 189, paragraph 7. He says the same thing. He says, forget this book, forget this course, and come with holy empty arms to your God.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
it. But he also says before that, give up everything that you ever thought was good or bad or right or wrong, anything you ever wanted, everything you ever didn't want, just all of those things. Just there, none of them have any meaning to you whatsoever. Just forget about it all, and come with holy empty hands unto your God. What a beautiful thing
Yeah.
that is to say. Uh,
By the way, that was Ken Lapnick's favorite paragraph.
am not surprised about that.
You said
And,
189, Dove?
and it was that paragraph that made me realize that this was not just another book. And at that point, I made it my only focus. Lesson 189, paragraph 7.
Lesson 189,
How do
paragraph
you do
7.
that? I don't understand how anyone can know the course like that.
Well, if it means something to you and you are used to it, then you're going to.
I think he has a very high IQ.
Well, that's probably true too. That is probably true too. But there's just some of these things that really just resonate, and you see it in your life. You see how it works, and that is lesson 189. That particular paragraph, it really does set everything that you need to know. And you know what the name of that lesson that is just so uh, something that stopped me in my tracks is called "I Feel the Love of God Within Me Now."
Yep, that's
I
it.
feel the love of God within me now. And, that for me, I was not, it took me a long time to actually recognize, to actually feel the love of God, because I thought that I was not worthy of being loved. And I thought that uh, God, who's so holy, could never really love someone who's like me, the home of evil, darkness, and and sin. uh, but the whole thing is, uh, you just have to look at all those things, and I'm just going to put it here. that paragraph in the what the heck am I doing here? What am I doing? I'm trying to put that up. I don't know what I did here. Oh, I minimized it. That's why I was like, where you ever do something on your computer and you completely don't know why you did it and what happened and where things went. There we go. So there's the paragraph that we're talking about. Simply do this, be still and lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is, all concepts you have learned about the world, all images you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything that it thinks is either true or false or good or bad, of every thought it judges worthy, and all the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold on to nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you ever learned before from anything. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. And that is just so clear this is what he wants us to do. Just do this. And if you could just do this, then you can come with wholly empty hands unto your God. But then the next paragraph really, really opens it up. He says, is it not he who knows the way to you? You need not know the way to him. Your part is simply to allow all obstacles that you have interposed between the Son and God the Father to be quietly removed forever. God will do his part in joyful and immediate response. Ask and receive, but do not make demands nor point the road to God by which he should appear to you. The way to reach him is merely to let him be, for in that way is your reality proclaimed as well. So he's saying, don't tell God, God, if you love me, you would cure cancer, or God, if you love me, you would make my husband love me, or God, if you loved me, you would let me win the lottery. We're always telling God how to come to us, but it says, don't you think he knows? And he knows what you need. So, why why, why do you think you need to know anything? All you need to know is let go of everything that you ever thought you ever knew, and it will be given to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynn. Sharon, that could be, those two paragraphs together could be part of your reading. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, we have to talk because I will be able to do it. I'm not going to Philly. So yeah, so 7 and 8 of lesson 189 would probably be like at the end. What happens is in working together, they give the reader what they want, and then we just follow. So yeah, that's good. And also I do like the one that you said about rules for the atonement. That's something we all know. Like,
Right.
if you focus on the atonement and your purpose, that's it.
Yeah. Sharon's going to be my reader on Sunday, October 6th at Awakening Together.
Awesome. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to that, Dove. So we all have to make sure that we make it in. Of course, I play that every Sunday anyway, but please, join us at Awakening Together. And there's a lot of room for healing um with all these communities together. So I appreciate that they're
Well,
gonna have
he's doing it because he volunteered, but he's in this group, so am I.
well, he's
I just
still
go to their
one of the
service
founding.
group.
Dove is a founding minister of Awakening Together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. I told him today when Lynn and Dove left Awakening Together, it changed for me. It just did.
Yeah. She was
It's
telling
just-
me today that she was so glad that I went with you. I said, where else would I go?
Yeah, I never left on Thursdays, but I think it was helpful to a point, and then I was so glad when you did this, Lynn, because I missed it. I missed everybody. It was it's just different. Let's face it, Spirit's going to put you exactly where you need to be.
Yep, absolutely. And oh, you know who might be coming back? Kathy Scott Perry. She
You're
contacted
kidding.
me
I
the other day.
love her.
Yeah, she contacted me the other day and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I explained to her what we're doing and sent her how to get in and all that. So hopefully
I'm going to message her because she's like a doll. She's an absolute doll.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, yep. We adore
You know
Kathy.
who else I love? Julia.
Yeah, I haven't seen her for a long
Well,
time.
I get to like she on WhatsApp, she sends me the lesson and then we interact. And she has such a magnificent way about her. What happened was she was on Facebook and she said, who wants to she does the lesson in the morning. And so that's what I've been doing with her. She's not a counselor for me, but she's just somebody that sends it and then I interact with her through WhatsApp. I love her. I love all these people from the course. It's just the energy.
Yeah, yeah.
But this group, it's what Brooklyn said is the truth.
Yeah,
There's
we
no
are
one here
loved.
that I would feel uncomfortable. Myrna's very quiet. Why are you so quiet, Myrna?
Hi guys, I'm taking this all in. I'm really soaking it all up. I'm getting high on the conversation, really. What more can I say?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh
Really.
my gosh, yeah.
I'm just sitting here so tranquil, listening to the interaction between everyone, and just there's nothing really to comment on. Just loving the calmness of tonight. That's how I feel, really.
That's beautiful. I love that too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Susan came down to Boca Raton.
Yes, Susan came
Wow,
to
wow,
town.
wow.
It was great seeing her. She came to my house, and we did the gather together on Zoom, and it was nice sitting side by side. And it was so extemporaneous, we really didn't even know what we were going to talk about. I had just come off a wedding, my granddaughter's wedding over the weekend.
How was it? How were the shoes? How was the
Right. So, yeah, it was wonderful. It really was
Oh,
wonderful. The love and just everything, the energy and that everything was just nonstop. You had to dance. I was dancing the night away. In fact, I said to Jesus, I might drop dead from a heart attack, but it's okay because I'll die dancing. I wasn't going to stop. I really thought.
I love it. I love it.
That's amazing,
You're such
Myrna.
a
Now,
fan.
are you okay now, Myrna, since you got all those tests and stuff done?
My God, test, no, that's tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm seeing a cardiologist in Miami, so I'll see what the next step is. So, but I'm feeling good. I have
Great.
I have no symptoms. I have no I'm asymptomatic with what they say is going on with me. So we'll find out more.
That's crazy.
If you were apprised, it'd be
Yeah.
great. But I have to tell you, Lynn, this was my granddaughter's gay wedding. It was a gay wedding.
Oh, how awesome.
Yeah, and everybody, married couples, gay couples, happy couples, everybody was happy. And the love and that was really obvious that was between the couple and their vows to each other. I mean, it was, and everybody was so happy, and everybody got up to kind of put their input into it.
I love it so
Yeah,
much.
it's just
I
wonderful.
do, Myrna. My
Experience.
neighbors across the street, there are two women that had, each
Uh-huh.
one got pregnant. It's so precious.
Mm.
One had a baby like a couple years ago, now another, and
Uh-huh.
they're the best people. I mean, what I love is when everybody is with openness. Like, who cares who you marry?
That's right.
Who
That's
cares
right.
whatever you do? I mean, the conditioned mind tells you this is what you need to do, but really we're all connected. And I love that they're gay and and your family just opened their heart up. Because when I was a kid, that stuff was harsh, wasn't it? Like when we
Oh
were
gosh,
kids.
yes. That was not allowed. Absolutely not thought of or allowed. And I think it caused a lot of confusion amongst a lot of people. That's for sure. So
It's
uh,
also made people very, I have a problem when anybody really, and again, we're in a world that it's here to hurt us. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have people that hurt people.
yeah.
Well, I have to tell you something even stranger, and I'm calling it strange because, of course, it's a judgment. The bride, who was about 5'8", 5'9", was wearing a wedding gown, gorgeous, big girl, and she was very tall, stately. And my granddaughter, who was about 5'3", was wearing a suit and a tie and a pair of pants, and a jacket. It was like,
Oh,
I kind of thought it was really strange, and I was thinking to myself, I would have preferred either they both be in wedding gowns or both be in suits, but I don't know. I kind of thought, and that's the ego. You're just not used to that kind of, that look.
yes, you're right, you're right.
Now, but
But
just that
think about it. She must have looked precious in that suit.
she
We're
was
just spirit
adorable.
in clothes. This is a bodysuit. So why shouldn't they wear what they want?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
the men's suit that she was wearing, a men's suit, men's jacket, a tie, pants, a brown suit yet, and a tie.
I love it. That's so cool. I
I do
love
too.
that.
I just think, yeah, I mean, when you look at us as God, why would we not want to be everything?
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what's so
Exactly.
beautiful.
Karen has her hand.
It's just so different. It's so advanced. It's so okay. Nobody, refrained from that. Everybody was just
I
very
love it. So Rafi has his hand up and so does Karen. Go ahead, Rafi.
It just reminded me of an old Lenny Bruce routine from the 1950s, the late 1950s. He used to say, homosexuality is a crime, it's illegal. And what they do is they arrest these homosexual men and then they put them into a prison with a lot of other men. And that's how insane egos are. I remember that from when I was a kid. I thought, oh my God, how perfect is that?
Well, Lenny Bruce was arrested really because of his views. You knew that, right?
Oh
About-
yeah.
Yeah.
Irene, is this Lenny Bruce, the one that was band leader, or?
No,
No, he was the first comic to
Oh, I don't know him.
break through and be real honest about what's going on. He did things about religion, about pointing out all the hypocrisy in organized religions and what goes on in society. And you're right. And at one point they did arrest him, and they put him on trial, but they didn't know what to charge him with because how can you charge somebody with a crime for telling the truth? They just didn't want to hear the truth.
they didn't want to hear it.
Right.
Yeah. And
What's
he
the
was
stuff?
like before George Carlin.
Oh yeah, no,
Lenny Bruce was a lot more controversial than George Carlin because it was shocking. The things that he said were shocking to society. George Carlin kind of gentled it up a little bit, still making the same points, but not as brutal, I think, as Lenny Bruce in the things that he had to say. So he was a real real
Rebel.
rebel. I was gonna say rebel, but yeah.
paved the way for those guys, George Carlin, Richie Pryor, all of those people.
Yep.
When they started, they were telling the truth. But if it wasn't for Lenny, who knows where that would have gone? But he exposed all of these nonsense, hypocrisies in our society, and made people go, "Oh yeah, okay." And the authority figures, boy, they didn't want that happen.
Not at all.
Karen,
Karen,
do you want to speak, Karen? Karen?
Yeah, hi. I wanted to say I think there was a Lenny Bruce movie and I think it was Dustin Hoffman who played him. It was like a biography. I remember watching it
Yes.
Yeah.
years ago. But what I wanted to say, I liked Lenny Bruce. What I wanted to say was about the outfit that your granddaughter had on is that I noticed, I don't know if anyone knows that Drew Barry has her own talk show.
Yeah.
Drew Barry often dresses with a tie and a suit, and she looks adorable, absolutely adorable. But it's a fashion statement. She does it for that, I think. And Diane Keaton also sometimes dresses
Yes,
very
she does.
manly, very
She
much
does.
as with a tie and a suit, and I think it's just sometimes a fashion statement, and I think it can look really good on certain people, if they wear it well. Some people wear it well, and I think that Diane Keaton and Drew Barrymore actually wear it well. So
Very good.
that's all. That's all I wanted to share.
I love that.
That's,
If
you
you got a
know,
reaction to it, you need to examine something that's going on inside you.
That's it. That's it.
it's just a dream of judgment. So of course they're going to take anything they can do.
Absolutely.
You gotta
And
laugh. You just gotta laugh. That's
we're
all.
here to be more open-minded. I mean, that's the whole point, is to be open-minded. To open ourselves and recognize that nothing can harm us, nothing can cause anything to go wrong, and we might as well just open to everything, because rejecting anything is going to hurt us.
How about lesson number one? It doesn't mean anything.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
The other one, if you spot it, you got it. That's also in
it.
Doug's book, which is
Oh,
called.
well, that's projection makes perception. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All
Love
right,
you
you
all.
guys. Yeah, it's been great, and I look
Yeah,
forward
I
to
love you
seeing y'all
guys so
on
much.
I love you
Thursday.
so much.
Love
Yeah.
you all, and hope everybody has a good night. Love you. Bye bye.
Big
Bye.
hugs.
Big hugs.